So I got asked this question a lot when I meet new players in BDO, mainly from newer guildies that started playing or from people that have been doing one thing and want to know about the other. Basically just what's it like on the other side of the coin. Whether you're a life skiller or grinder, there's always one person that wants to know what the other thing is like. I'm not huge on life skilling and I'm new to it myself to a small degree. I think my highest life skills are processing, fishing, cooking, and farming that are all about master, and gathering is at artisan 9, so I'm almost master in that area as well, but everything else is pretty much master plus. And even though that seems high to a newer player, just keep in mind, it's really not that high. You can get master in just about every life skill in roughly around a few hours depending on what you do. You just have to look for the strat. For me, a lot of the reasons I have masters because I just did random shit. An example would be cooking, right? I cooked up chicken stew with grains for like months to get to master 5, and I say months because it was on and off, of course, and I wouldn't do it consistently. But had I done just Vinegar, and yes, I know how it's actually pronounced, but I say Vinegar so that way I'm not taking out of context because we all know how that sounds whenever people hear it. But the point being is if you just cook Vinegar for about 2 hours and you have a lot of materials, you can easily get master cooking within, I think, 3 to 4. So yeah, I mean, I wasted a lot of time when it came to cooking, so just don't look at me as a guru life skiller because I'm not. I'm really an idiot. With all that being said, let's go ahead and start with grinding, as in going to a spot and grinding mobs for cash. At the start of the game, as a beginner, this is basically your main source of money outside of finishing the quest line because like all your life skills are going to be naturally at 0 minus playing a shy because they start at a fixed gathering and alchemy level, but you're most likely not playing a shy as your first character because nobody does that. So when it comes to grinding early on, it sucks dick. It just sucks dick. Sitting there, running around shit-ass grind spots, making 10 mil, maybe 20 mil an hour with 2 tier 1 pets that pick up loot at the speed of mayonnaise, it sucks dick. Without at least 5 pets and a decent grind spot, you're making legitimately no money. At least you're making pennies anyway. I get it, there's a starting point to everything, but low-end grinding just sucks actual balls and takes a while to build any kind of money. You have a few spots that can work out and make a decent chunk of change, but most spots are S tier, and without an S tier class, you're stuck in the Shadow Realm for a while making pennies. If you're looking for some recommendations, go to Gaha's or Polly's Florist and even Blood Wolves for some early cash, pre 200 AP. Once you start getting upwards about 235 with Kudum, you can look at places like Manshams or Akhman for way better money. At these spots, you can start making 20 to 100 million depending on class and skill level, also gear if you're playing a not so great grinder, but regardless, this is where grinding starts actually being good. In all honesty, once you can start doing Akhman and making 50 mil an hour with Agris and a scroll, or hell, even just a scroll, you should just live there for the rest of your life. Akhman is easily one of the best grind spots in the whole ass game. On my Zerker or Striker with 285 AP, I can pull 10k trash an hour, as of recent of course, with just a loot scroll. With Agris, I'm looking at 15 to 20k if I'm sweating my nuts off. The trash loot there is worth 7,500 per drop, and every mob drops a multiple of each of the loot, so if we times that by 10k, we're looking at 75 million per hour. This isn't counting scroll drops either, or a Tungrat earring drop. That's just completely separate because that's CM money. But the point being is even with Agris and a scroll there, right? You're looking at well over 100 mil, possibly 120 to 150. Some classes that do pretty well in Akhman are as follows: Guardian, Witch Wizard, Berserker, Striker, and some others. I'm too lazy to name them all, so kind of deal with it, but those are just some examples. And I know some people are going to be like, Berserker does well in Akhman? I mean, yeah, the mobs are like fucking next to each other basically. It doesn't require you to run everywhere. Plus collision doesn't necessarily matter with shake off and the little evasion. So Berserker does alright in Akhman. However, when he starts PvPing in Akhman, that's when things get a little claustrophobic. So Berserker is like hit or miss depending on if you're left alone. Honestly, after Akhman, shit kinda sucks in my opinion. Star's End is great, but is contested a lot. You may have to settle for a booty rotation that can affect your money per hour. Trees is good XP, but money is only good with Agris and a loot scroll. Gyphon sucks dick in general, never go there. And Hystria is basically the same as Star's End, but with more difficult approach to get into because you gotta find a portal. So yeah, history is I'd just rather go to Star's End. You can grind these areas, but you need at least 245 Kudum or 261 Nuver just to make these spots work, and sometimes if you're playing a shit class, you may not even be able to make it work, so just bear that in mind. An example would be Star's End and Berserker. With 270 plus AP, I was only pulling like 3.5k trash an hour, and that is significantly less than Aukman trash per hour, right? I was barely making any money with like 261 Nuver, and then once I got 270, I started seeing a little bit more, but ever since I switched to my Succession Striker, I can now do 4k for almost 5k per hour, which is pretty good. So endgame grinding is rough without extremely high AP and some DP to offset the mob's damage. My opinion is stay in Aukman forever and get full pen, because every other place sucks ass and is sweaty as hell when it comes to grinding, without extremely good gear or an S tier class anyway. Now Lifeskilling, baby, this shit is OP. Look, let me explain, okay? I know it's not for everyone, but it's good money, and the barrier of entry is a lot less expensive than grinding. Full Trilogia accessories is a few hundred million for all of them, then gathering clothes and a butcher knife, it's about 900 million, so it's about 1.5 for everything, and compared to grinding mobs, you're spending 1.5 for all your gear. When it comes to going to a grind spot, you're looking at about 25 fucking bill just to make some good damn money. Now, I can make 100 mil per hour Lifeskilling, but I'm bottlenecked due to my energy cap, so you're trading a consistent and constant grind for a bottlenecked grind. With Lifeskilling, it's good and easy money, but you gotta chill for a minute and wait for energy to, regenerate, right? So to offset that, you gotta do other Lifeskilling that's active so that way you can get your energy back. Typically, I cook whenever my Lifeskiller or my gatherer is out of energy, so while I put her in a bed or something, or I'll just cook on her because she's also an artisan cook as well. So if I'm that desperate and I have a lot of mats saved up, I'll just go ahead and have her cook for a little bit and then wait for my energy to come back and then go out again and make a bunch of money. I know some people would suggest, just lay in a bed for an hour or two, but once you get to about the 300 energy marker, I think you're waiting about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours just to regen it all with a Kama Silva buff plus the bed and your Turning Gates buff from your villa. Like, yeah, you're still waiting a good bit of time. So if you're gonna sit in a bed all day just waiting for it to come back, that's a lot of time you're wasting. 2 hours, that's 200 mil you're throwing away right there. Some people may not care about the min max, but honestly, whenever you're playing BDO, min max is kind of everything. One thing that I do like to do, just like as I mentioned, I cook up some Vinegar for Witch's Delicacy spam so I can turn it into milk, and then I can either sell raw for 10k on the market, or I can turn it into soft bread, cook up a ham sandwich for Imperial Trading, or meat croquet. It really just depends. So no matter what I'm doing, I'm regenerating energy as long as I'm on that character. So cooking is a good outlet for still making money while waiting for energy to come back. So all of you are probably just watching this video still, or have already clicked off and are still wondering, so what's better, Lifeskilling or grinding? I don't fucking know what the hell I'm supposed to say. I don't fucking know. Look, the money output is the same currently, but Lifeskilling can be lucrative and dependent on the marketplace, and you have to constantly check to see if what you're cooking or crafting is still worth a sell. Whereas grinding is guaranteed money through trash loot that is untaxed plus whatever drops you get from said spot. The trade-off is a sweaty grind in some spots and possible PvP if someone wants to take it. As of right now, it's the same for either side of the coin. When Manos drops, I believe grinding will be dead for a while till future content comes out. Agent Russ is a pro Lifeskiller. I need to mention this because it's very important. He makes a bill a day through gathering, and that's with Manos gear. I believe he said he pulls 300 million per hour, which is absolutely insane compared to our grind spots on console, which at best is 100 to 150 mil per hour. So honestly, just get into both, do both. There's no reason to not do both. One thing I just have to say, right, when getting into both is you never know when something's gonna pop off. You never know. If you see something on the market and it just absolutely blows up to the point where you can make so much dummy thick money, invest in it, because it's a good point to invest into it, because you never know when something is going to pop up. If there's a huge demand for, let's say, wolf meat at some point and it sells for 10k and you can pick up 10k wolf meat per hour, you're making a fuckload of money. You're supplying the demand. So why not have access to every outlet of money? Don't limit yourself to just grinding, because if something pops off in the CM and there's a demand for it and you don't have a way to supply, guess what? Someone else is gonna do it and you're fuck out of money. And the same thing goes for grinding. You don't wanna just be a straight up life skiller because you never know when a grind spot's gonna come out that's gonna yield a dummy thick amount of money. Not to mention if you ever just wake up one day and you're like, hey, I feel like going into BA and practicing PvP, or I feel like doing a node war, or I feel like joining a node war guild and having fun, or just doing PvP in general. You never know when these things are going to arise, so why not have the gear to do both things? At the end of the day, as of current patch on console, it's realistically up to you. They're about the same, and that's just it. But anyway, that's it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.